Hello, love. Welcome to Feeling Fridays here on the Libran Key. These are messages of soul support for the highest and greatest good of the Empath Collective and the Empath Journey here on Mama Gaia. Part of the Elsh Collective, of course, empaths, light workers, starseeds, healers, awakened and awakening souls. Know that if this message has found you for the first time or you have found that there is something here for you, that is always the intention that I put into these messages. We have a bit of an energy update and at the same time, as always, a timely yet timeless message, okay? The energies of the blue avians wanting to come through for this, speaking specifically about empathy and healthy boundaries, amongst other things. One of my guides coming through on behalf of them, the Lyran energies connected to the blue avians as well, are a part of this. There's a kind of ancient consciousness is what I'm hearing that they want to bring through with regard to this in terms of understanding energy and energetic boundaries, and specifically showing me working with two crystals. I'm going to share them with you here, and if they're not available to you, of course, you can tap into their energies as I bring them into this reading. This is a piece of natural citrine and blue kyanite. Okay, and he wants to talk a little bit about that first. And also, as a side note, I'm being directed to share one book with you that I have absolutely I discovered this book, I think about a year ago. It's called The Book of Stones. The Book of Stones by Robert Simmons. And I hope I'm saying her name right. Naisha Asian. Okay. There's a pocket version of this as well, if I'm not mistaken, because I think I've seen it before. I don't have the pocket version. I, of course, have this one, okay? There is an immense amount of beautiful information, knowledge. Even I feel there's so much activation in this particular book of stones, transmissions even, because that's a word that keeps on coming through for this particular message. And remember, what's really, really interesting is that Robert Simmons, I know for a fact here, with some of the things I've read, and I'm pretty sure Naisha Asian, the same thing, they've worked with these crystals, right? And that's what I love about it. It's not just sort of sometimes a lot of the information we have out there with regard to crystals and their properties, their healing aspects, what they do, the energies that they hold can become a bit repetitive. And there is absolute truth and what's the word? Information, valid information in sharing these kind of textbook explanations about crystals. We also have to tune into these crystals ourselves, because our energetic frequency, actually this is part of the message that he wants to bring through, and that the blue avians and the Lyrans, this kind of consciousness that they want us to understand, you have to think of crystals as being an energetic match to you as well. So you'll notice that, a lot of people, for example, speak about moldavite, right? We hear all about moldavite and the tektites in general, and how transformational moldavite is, and how every starseed needs to get their hands on moldavite, etc., etc., fill in the blank. I have myself worked with moldavite. It has done specific things for me. It's done many different things for other people that I know who've worked with it. It's not a cookie cutter version of anything, and not everybody gravitates towards moldavite. And there's a reason for that, because some of us maybe perhaps are not in alignment with the energy that it holds. And it could be you go years without ever working with a certain crystal. It never really pops up on your radar. And then suddenly you're working with it and it is your best friend. And it's like you're wearing it, you're putting it in pockets, you're putting it in bags, you're buying pieces of it, you're sleeping with it. It comes to a point where you are then ready for it, and it is ready for you, okay? So I always feel that the crystal chooses you. The crystal chooses you more than anything, because of where you are at in your journey, where you are at vibrationally. And in a way too, you also choose the crystal when you feel a very strong pull to it, kind of like these messages, right? Like they find you, you find them. It's all working in tandem. It's this beautiful kind of coming into alignment, sort of harmonization that's taking place, okay? So yeah, he wants me really to kind of bring that through as a message, and specifically working with natural citrine and kyanite for this, because both these crystals do not need to be cleansed. Now, charging is a different energy, and I like to, whenever I'm working with crystals, this is a personal thing. If this resonates for you, great. If it doesn't, great. But when I work with certain crystals, especially the ones that are self-cleansing, that have a certain frequency that's attuned to that, I still like to kind of give them a freshening up, so to speak, okay? Because it's almost like a charging, like when you charge a battery. That's sort of how I see it. So what's really interesting is he's bringing through these crystals as an analogy for our own energy. And I'm just going to refer to my notes for a second here, because this specifically what I heard is this is in relation to energy healing, and a specific message for energy healers being a vessel for energy transmission. That's the word I heard. And healthy boundaries around you. Knowing your threshold. That's another thing that I heard. He's also wanting to comment here on the fact that this is a little bit more of a timely message. Solar flares, light codes, and sacred geometry transmissions are abounding at the moment. And you need time as well to integrate those things. I mean, with solar flares, we know this, right? Like, and any kind of transmission, sometimes the energy is so, it's so powerful, it's so strong. Our physical container needs to adjust to that. And oftentimes that involves certain things coming out in the physical reality around you that are very purge-like. And that's why he's bringing in these particular crystals. One thing that kyanite, and I think it's touched upon here in the Book of Stones, one thing that kyanite is fantastic at doing is integrating consciousness on every level, every body of consciousness, between your waking state, your dream state, your meditation state, okay? Astral travel. This is a crystal that really assists in the integration of that and holding that frequency, being able to hold that frequency in harmony again, okay? And with the oh my God, I keep on saying, with the, I'm curious, I don't know, is there a thing as yellow kyanite? I don't know, perhaps there is, but there's something about that too. I do not have yellow kyanite, I've never seen it, but there's something in that with the energy of this yellow coming through, this golden energy, again, very much connected to the solar flares, connected to the light codes, connected to this alchemization process, the transmutation of energy. We're getting a lot of activations right now, and specifically the Empath Collective is what he wants to bring through, because so much of this has to do with learning how to be a vessel for energy, to not take on energy that's not ours, and to not also give away energy that is ours, especially when it comes to energy healing. And he's directing me now to the voice as well. So this is also connected to voicing this for yourself, speaking your truth, integrating these energies. There's going to be a lot of voice activations happening where we express ourselves. He's directing me to the fact that Mercury will be going retrograde at the beginning. Well, is it next week? Yeah, it's the 12th, right? So I think it's Tuesday. Today being a Friday. We're already kind of in that energy where we can start feeling it now before Mercury actually goes retrograde, but he's really wanting to emphasize this. And he's showing me a lot of healing. This is just kind of like a side note here. There's a lot of healing to be had at the throat in terms of your expression, your voice. This is connected to setting healthy boundaries, to actually voicing them, to stating them in some way, okay? So he wants to bring in a message of support around this. Healthy boundaries, understanding your energy, knowing, as especially if you're a healer, because this is something that you kind of, you come across this in different circles where some people often feel that they're giving away their energy. And this is a form of consciousness. It's almost like he's showing me that it's shifting, because it was kind of, it's almost like a traditional way, but it's a misinterpreted way of how we've understood energy healing, that we think it's like we're giving our energy to someone else when we do a healing on them, when that's not the way. Okay, so this is a big message. This is about understanding that if you're getting drained, if this has become a pattern in your healing practice, where you're finding yourself very sensitive to the energies of others, feeling drained because you feel you're losing your energy, what's actually happening is your healing practices, the people that you're working on, when the energy, the souls that you're working with, and the energy is coming and reflecting back to you, something that you also need to look at within yourself. And this is coming from a place of deep self-love and understanding that this is a form of consciousness that many of us have taken on very unconsciously. And it's old matrix programming. It's this idea that you're giving away, like I'm showing, oh my God, there's a lot coming through here with regard to like guilt, the programming of guilt, being a good person, the fact that you're supposed to give and overgive in order to be good at this, to do what you want to be a good person, to help people, to help others. There's a big shift taking place with this. I'm just going to sum it up there, because this video could go on forever talking about that and really trying to dissect that and what that means, okay? I'm just going to let the messages speak for themselves here. We'll see what comes through. I'm going to be asking through the Gateway of Light activation, Kyle Gray, and I'm going to also be asking through Pamela's Genius, the Giant Rider-Waite Smith here. The images, by the way, here are by Jennifer Hawkyard. Now, I always put the description in the description box below. I always put the decks that I am working with, and especially the people who do the artwork, because it's incredibly important to recognize them as well, okay? It's their images that are being put on these cards. Okay, so messages of soul support. The Empath Journey here on Mama Gaia, the Empath Collective, around healthy energetic boundaries and the way that we are transmitting energy, especially messages for healers with regard to being a vessel, not taking on energy that is yours, and also not depleting yourself of your own energy. Just keeps on wanting me to reiterate that was fast. Vessel, you are a vessel, thinking of yourself as a conduit, Stargate heart. Ooh, heart chakra opening, unlocking, generosity. Okay, let me get these cards out first. Star being healing codes, important information. Wounds are healed, recharging. This is a nod to the activations, and again, the solar flares and the light codes. This card has come through once before, and it is, to me, like I see the energy of the sun in this card and light codes hitting Mama Gaia. Transmissions through this as well, okay? And the divine matrix, interconnectedness, synchronicity, God incidences. Okay, so these are new earth templates. These are new earth templates that are coming through. I'm going to start with this here, generosity and focusing on the heart space. This is where the blue avian consciousness, the Lyran consciousness wanting to come through, very, very specifically speaking to the fact that we have to see generosity and giving the same way we see generosity with regard to our cups being full first energetically. And when we are being generous, it's not that we're depleting our own bank account, so to speak, to give it to someone else. We are generously expanding our energy to receive the energy needed for transmissions and healing to take place. This is about opening up yourself so big in a sacred, protected, healthy, boundaried way where you are able to transmit these healing energies, these codes to others without depleting yourself, where you are actually, in doing so, giving yourself a tremendous amount of energy. However, when that happens, you have to remember that the physical vessel needs to also catch up with that. So there's going to be required periods of rest for you. That does not mean you're being depleted. What that means is you are actually integrating those energies. So we have to start looking at it from this point of view. And we also need to start looking at where perhaps we have inherited through the old matrix programming around giving our own energy and believing that just because we are tired, we've given our own energy away to someone else. It's not the case. He's showing me that this is as simple as stating and affirming that and creating that intention daily and in your practice. Stating clearly that you are a conduit for these energies, that you in no way are depleting your own energy in order to heal, and that you are also not taking on energy that isn't yours, an energy that is not in alignment with your highest and greatest good, highest and greatest best, okay? Because these codes that are coming in are part of this new earth template. This is the divine matrix. These are the energies that we are also attuning to, okay? Also, pay attention to synchronicities around this. Pay attention going forward to God incidences. Like, I love that. He's showing me pay attention around you to the synchronicities you're seeing in terms of energy, where your own frequency is being reflected to you, back to you, through either the people that you are working with or just in general, like on a day-to-day basis. Yeah, ancestral realm is at the bottom of the deck. Karmic release, healing the lineage, boundaries, okay? So this, he's really directing me to this right here, this flame. This looks like Kundalini energy. This looks like the chakra system, right? I'm seeing the caduceus in that too. That's associated with the Kundalini energies merging, okay? There is a transmutation happening here, and these are also being reflected to me as these solar codes coming through, because these energies hitting Mama Gaia are hitting us as well, and they are purging the old matrix ancestral lineages, the karmic attachments that we may have had to lineages, the subconscious programming that we have had to the past, to the way that we've been raised, to family, right? To our lineages, to this old matrix, okay? I'm going to ask now through Pamela's genius, through the Rider-Waite Smith now, for messages, again, around these energetic boundaries, through integrating these codes, okay? Understanding this is a really, you know, I'm also, as I cut the deck, he's directing me to show you this Three of Cups in reverse. This is connected to family. This is how he's showing it to me. The disintegration of family. He's showing me, okay, so this is an acknowledgement of the fact that in this process, there may be a certain degree of emotional turmoil. That's the word that I'm hearing with regard to your family, and just to have, again, tremendous compassion for that, and even to exercise healthy boundaries when it comes to your own family, okay? If they're not understanding, for example, what you're going through. This comes back, though, to what he was talking about with the voice and speaking your truth and doing that in a way where you feel safe, okay? Sometimes you have to physically separate yourself from a family member or create some kind of distance. Yeah, look at this. The Ten of Swords coming out here as I say that. That's the ending of a cycle, though. There's some kind of nod here. He wants to acknowledge for some of us that there's a degree of feeling betrayed by family, where you have overextended yourself with your own family. This goes back to this ancestral realm and these patterns that a lot of empaths have in families, where they do anything and everything for a particular family member that does not reciprocate the love the way that the empath wishes to receive it, the way that they know, that they believe is right to receive it. It's not just about wishing it. It's just that you are functioning at a very different level of consciousness in that, and that your family member and the person that you are with does not understand that. They're coming from a different perspective altogether, and that there is a lot of wounding that's created through that. Really what he's giving me right now is this energy of understand that that person is a soul having their own experience, and that much of what is going on is not even personal to you in many respects, that it is their own consciousness that's reflecting that black. So back to you. So I mean, this could be an energy of simply you know, where you have like a verbally, I'm just going to give one example here, a verbally abusive parent who you seem like you're the one that's getting the short end of the stick out of all your siblings even, right? And you may be that type of daughter or son, child to this parent that really wants to do everything right for them, that really wants to be there for them, to support them, that wants to be loved by them, right? And that is triggering for that parent because of whatever they have been through in their lives. And perhaps it's not reflected in your other siblings, but it's reflected back in you for a very specific reason. And much of that has to do with the dynamic that you have with this particular parent. And so there is a massive opportunity in that for lessons in you creating these healthy boundaries and understanding that it's not always about what you wish you could get, right? I know that can be very difficult. It can be very, very difficult when we go through these things to understand it when we're going through them. There's much healing and growth to be had through these experiences, okay? I'm going to end it there because it's just getting, this could take forever to talk about. Page of Pentacles, as I was cutting the deck there, by the way, in reverse. That's just another nod to that. Like I'm seeing a childlike energy in that where, you know, curiosity, wanting to learn, wanting the support in the physical and not getting it. I'm also seeing, you know, where instances where perhaps you didn't have parents that were very affectionate, right? Coming through that Pentacles energy. Okay, so messages of soul support now. It's a big, big message. So please take whatever resonates here and leave what does not. The Hermit in reverse. He still wants me to shuffle a few more here. That's the energy of coming out of your shell, okay? Queen of Cups. Queen of Cups coming out with the Hermit in reverse. All right. This is about, again, he's showing me emotional mastery and expression of that, coming out of the darkness, shining your light on this, okay? Understand, too, that the darkness was an opportunity for you to be able to transmute these energies. And we got the Magician popping out here as well. That's a nod to that, okay? Look at that with the Nine of Swords in reverse at the bottom of the deck. This is a really beautiful message right now. It's showing me energetically that there's a lot of work that has been done in coming out of this energy. And we did have that Ten of Swords come out as well, okay? This is the end of a cycle, just another confirmation of that. And so much of this starts with the thoughts in our minds and the programming and the conditioning, because Swords energy has a lot to do with this. Swords energy, this is how we are programmed and conditioned through the mind. And the mind, having been out of whack with the rest of our beings for millennia now, where we put so much emphasis on the mind, that is basically the gateway or the route in which these kind of, this programming and manipulation in this respect, okay, in a power over kind of way, has been done through our thinking, through our thoughts, because it's the easiest kind of way to do that. And then we get the emotional side of it as well too. But this is about thoughts. This is about coming out of the thinking here. This is also about establishing healthy boundaries. So with this Hermit coming out in reverse and the Queen of Cups with the Magician, this is showing me that the energy, the work is being done. The work is being done. The healing has been taking place. We go into ourselves, we go inwards in order to discover more, in order to regroup, is how he's presenting it to me. He's also showing me, a lot of sacred geometry in this. I keep on seeing Metatron's cube. I keep on seeing the Merkaba. If that resonates with you at some level, absolutely take that as a confirmation or something to work with. He's showing me this in terms of integration and the energy of integration, and also understanding something more holistically and universally when it comes to some kind of an experience that you have had around this, in terms of overextending yourself energetically, okay? That's what he's wanting me to show. Now, remember, the Merkaba is also incredibly protective, and we all have a Merkaba vessel, right? So tuning into that, activating that, that could be something that's speaking to you right now, okay? So this Queen of Cups is coming through as an energy, this beautiful divine feminine energy coming through to support this energetic mastery, especially within the emotional body. And that is how we set up these boundaries. And this Magician coming through as the transmutation of that, as a confirmation of the transmutation of that. He's also showing me the Magician card as the transmission taking place, and us grounding those energies into the physical, into our bodies, and into the physical reality around that. And then you find yourself in a moment, all of a sudden, speaking your truth, speaking a boundary, saying no more, saying yes to this new way of thinking, yes to this new divine matrix, understanding of my energy, yes to this new template. And I am here as I'm hearing the word facilitator of that. I am here as a facilitator of that now. I'm going to end on this because this is coming through. The whole left side of my body is like lighting up with this. Some of you, some of us are going to be learning new healing modalities. Oh man, I'm getting goosebumps like crazy with that. I'm going to be learning new healing modalities that we have that are I'm hearing a lot of galactic, cosmic consciousness, the Blue Avians, the Lyrans. If you resonate with those star families, you can connect with them, or your own star family ancestry guides. There's something here for you. I'm also getting the energy of the Arcturians coming in with this as well. They want to also emphasize sacred geometry here and numbers too, something with that. So this is a huge nod to that. And you being the initiator, the pioneer of this is a one energy, right? Shining there's so much, by the way, like again, solar energy just coming through this card right now. And it's even being reflected here in this hermit too, with a light, right? That divine light within us. I'm going to close out this reading again with bringing these crystals back in, because I often feel that citrine is very much this solar energy, that divine light within us, our willpower, right? That seat of our willpower in our body, okay? And the will to do this, the will to make this decision, to do this healing, to explore this even more deeply, okay? In a way, of course, that is, you're accountable to yourself. You're being responsible with yourself. You're being responsible with your own energy and acting of your own free will. Yeah, he's showing me that this is like a whole other deeper way of understanding our own free will in healing this, okay? I'm going to end it there. Thank you to the blue avian beings, to my guide, to the Lyran beings for coming through for this. I thank you for being here, sharing your time and your energy with me in this space, and I'm sending you so much love wherever you are, in love and liberation, always.